I don't think anybody ever wakes up and says, man, I just want to be a number. But I think that whenever we get kind of technology in our hands, we try to find ways to almost make people feel that way. Most everybody that has become my client has originated through some sort of online communication. So I'm not denouncing that at all. It's just there actually has to be communication, not just broadcasts.
Hey, fitness fans, welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. This is your host, Eric Malzone, and we're on episode number 55, and I get to talk to Pat Rigsby. So Pat has been in the fitness industry for a long time. He's worn a lot of hats. He's been a CEO of multi-million-dollar companies, and now he is a business coach, a author, and a speaker. And a little bit of reflection for me on this was that one of the greatest unexpected benefits of starting this podcast series was that I get to interview people and I get to learn so much. Imagine you get to grab people from the industry and sit them down for 30 minutes and ask all the questions that you want to ask. And it's just really cool. I learned so much, especially from someone who, like Pat, who I believe is a few years ahead of me in what I want to be doing as well. It was just awesome. And I learned a lot of things from him, and I'll tell you what they are in just a few moments. But first of all, I want you to consider taking some action and checking out the Modern Fitness Pro closed Facebook group. You know, as the date of recording this intro, which is April 17th, the discussions that are happening within there right now are amazing, and you don't want to miss it. It's just really for the betterment of the industry, and it's going places, and it's really exciting. So go check it out. It is the Modern Fitness Pro closed Facebook group. It is by application only, and if you're accepted, you'll be part of that conversation with over 2,000 fitness professionals from all over the world, and it's growing every day. So what did I learn from Pat? Well, one thing that's amazing is that he's been writing a daily email to his email list for 12 years straight. Let that soak in. 12 years straight, 7 days a week. He hasn't missed. It's amazing. And every day I asked him what he does in his days that really make sure that he's pushing the needle forward. And he does three things. He wants to make sure he touches on three things. Number one, he wants to make sure that he coaches, right? He's busy. He's coaching somebody, most likely on their business. Number two, he wants to make sure he's creating content every day. And number three, you want to make sure that he's selling in some way, either moving someone up an escalation ladder, new clients, whatever it is. Those are the three things he focuses on. Then he outsources everything else. And it's a great place to be. It's one of those spots that you've got to earn to get there, to have all these things working for you. And then once that flywheel is turning, your business just turns. So it was really exciting. And yeah, I hope you get a lot out of this. I certainly did, like I said. And without further ado, this is episode number 55. This is Pat Rigsby. Enjoy the show. Hey, fitness fans, welcome back to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. And today I have the man, Pat Rigsby. I tracked him down, got him on the show. Really excited to have him here. And Pat, thanks for coming on.
Man, my pleasure. I'm excited to be here. Looking forward to chatting and really kind of digging into some of this stuff.
Awesome. So for those who don't know you within the industry, tell us a little bit about your story, who you are, what you do, and who you serve within the industry.
Who I am, gosh, I'm one of these guys, I guess, that's been around doing this for a while. I was a college baseball coach, college strength coach for the first kind of iteration of my professional life. Ended out getting into the private sector, opening one business, had some success there, opened a second business and went well. So started sharing what was working with some other fitness professionals. And man, what felt like a blink of an eye, 25 businesses later,
Wow.
Franchise organizations, equipment companies, coaching organizations, product-based stuff, you name it, a little bit of everything in every corner of the fitness industry. And then into 2014, 15, like beginning of 15, sold all of that and just said, okay, I'm going to focus on building what I call my ideal business and just serving the fitness or wellness entrepreneur that wants to have more impact, earn a better income, enjoy life as a business owner instead of feeling like they're owned by their business. And since then, I've just been coaching people on those very things.
Awesome. So in 2015, when you made that, that's a huge shift in your life. right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a huge shift. Was there a catalyst or something that you just woke up one morning and like, this is the direction I want to go, or what changed?
Well, there were definitely kind of those turning point moments where, you think, hey, is this really what I intended to be doing when I built all this, or is it just kind of taking on a life of its own? And then points where I'd look up and I say, man, do I feel like I own this and I'm steering this, or I'm owned by this and I'm just kind of along for the ride? And I thought, I mean, if I've been able to build this sort of organization that is an umbrella for a lot of different things, I should be able to build something that with a little more focus that is maybe a more direct line to where I wanted to go. And so, I mean, it took a little bit of time to make that shift and, and kind of sell off and evolve and start anew. But I kind of look at my professional life as version 1.0, version 2.0, and now we're on to 3.0. And hopefully with each round, I've gotten a little bit smarter, and I know I'm enjoying it a whole lot more,
Yeah. Yeah. I find too, and I'm interested in finding out who these people are for you, but most great business coaches or coaches in general value coaching in their own life, right? Do you have, I'm sure you have, but who have been some of the mentors that you've had along the way?
Man, there have been so many, starting with a gentleman named Bob Morgan, who was the head baseball coach at Indiana University, who kind of took me under his wing when I was a young head coach. Guys like Roy Williams, who is a big kind of marketing advertising guy down in Austin, Texas. I learned a lot from him. Certainly learned a lot from guys like Dan Kennedy and Jay Abraham. I've been in mastermind groups and a coaching client of, any number of people. I don't know that there's been a point that I've not been one or the other in my professional life. And it kind of bounces between sometimes being in a mastermind group for maybe a broader experience, or hiring a coach to specifically improve in one area or another. I mean, last year I knew I wanted to do a little more with books and build a platform there. So I basically hired the guy who was the business person behind building Jim Rohn International. And it's like, man, hey, they sold 5-6 million books. There's probably something I can learn here, right?
Yeah.
I'm a lifelong student, if you will, and pretty much an avid reader too. And then, the beauty of that is you can be mentored by hundreds of different people through reading, and they don't necessarily ever know who I am, but I know I've learned a lot from them.
Yeah, that's a really good point. For a lot of people too, I'm actually at a point, this is a bit of a selfish question. So I'm considering, a one-on-one business coach versus a mastermind group. Where do you see the value in both? And do you ever steer people in one direction or the other due to specific reasons?
Yeah, I think that one-on-one coaches are awesome when kind of the areas that you specifically want to focus on and improve.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me with the book side of stuff, or times that I've wanted to do more on developing a speaking platform or something like that, those were very clear times to me that hiring a coach was a great plan.
Yeah.
When I've looked for just kind of overall business improvement, a lot of times I think the mastermind environment, it has been great for me, because in some cases I don't know what I don't know, right? So other people asking questions open my eyes to a lot of things that maybe I wouldn't have thought about otherwise. So if I know the specific benefits I'm trying to get, I think one-on-one is awesome. But if I'm just looking for kind of well-rounded, holistic improvement, I think a mastermind environment has a lot to offer.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great insight, and I appreciate that. That helps me. So, with the people that you're working with, when they're building, their ideal business, what's some of the biggest challenges or the things that inhibit them from getting started?
Most of the people in our industry, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, they come into our industry from a position of enjoying the topic, right? Enjoying the thing we're delivering. They enjoy fitness, they enjoy wellness, they enjoy being in the gym. Traditionally, people who are entrepreneurs and own businesses, that's not their point of entry, right? I mean, you don't sit on the back deck and grill burgers and say, I'm going to open a McDonald's or right? You're not in the, like, sitting on the back patio with clippers and like giving $5 haircuts to people and saying, man, I should really open a sport clip. Yeah. So that it's not the same point of entry. And so because of that, I think a lot of the time, people default to what they're comfortable with, what they're good at. So they really immerse themselves in the training side of it. They really immerse all of their efforts when it comes to continuing education in the training side of it, and try to justify that by saying, well, if I'm a better coach, I'm going to be a better business owner. People are going to come to me. They're going to refer me business. When in reality, I mean, we got to wear both hats, right? Yes, we have to provide a service. I don't care if we're doing it in person or online. We have to provide a real meaningful service to somebody. We're going to help them go from where they are to where they want to be, but we have to figure out how to do it profitably. We have to figure out how to do it at scale. If that, if we're trying to expand, and we got to figure out how to do it without creating what I know it personally, a success that I didn't particularly enjoy after a while, like where you look up and you're like, man, by all these external measures, we're knocking it out of the park. But internally, I feel like I'm just swallowed up by this whole thing. And I see business owner after business owner kind of fall in that same trap. Either they aren't making enough money for what they're contributing, or they've got kind of golden handcuffs and, yeah, I'm making money, but I'm working constantly. I don't get to go on vacations. I don't get to step away to coach my kids' little league team or have much time for myself. And the reality is, I mean, they don't know a way out because they only know what they've done, right? So for me, a lot of times it's just helping them engineer kind of a new plan and coach them along the way and course correct as we go until we get to a point where they feel like, man, this is kind of what I signed on for in the beginning.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. As you're saying all this, I'm like, God, that was me. That was me. That was one of my clients. It's universal. So walk us through maybe a sample process, without using names, of course, of clients, but what does that process look like? What's the granular aspects of that?
So when I coach somebody, typically I want to spend some time with them one-on-one, ideally in person, or worst case scenario, virtually. And I want to get to know them as a person, right? Like I want to know what their values are, kind of what lights them up. I want to know all of it, because it's really easy in the era we kind of live in now to just throw tactics at somebody. I mean, tactics there's no shortage of that. Go run this Facebook ad, do this sort of thing for marketing. But I want to know kind of what makes them tick and why they're doing this in the first place. Once we do that, I can ask better questions. I can say, okay, well, tell me what success is to you. And we can get past that default answer. Well, I want to have 200 clients or 200 members. I want to have a gross revenue of $40,000 a month, or all those kind of generic things that people default to giving as their answers, because they're assuming that if I hit these benchmarks, all this other cool stuff comes with it. I'm going to have more income. I'm going to have a better quality of life. All these things that are kind of weighing on me now will be gone. So I want to know what they're expecting those things will lead to, because those are really what success looks like.
Right.
And once we figure out those things, then my job is to say, okay, let's play to your strengths. Let's figure out who you want to work with, what you're best at doing, and then let's create a roadmap from where you are today to reach that point of what success actually is to you. And maybe that's making $150,000 a year in personal income and taking 3 weeks of vacation and being able to coach your daughter's soccer team. Maybe it's to feel like, man, I just want to have kind of a normal schedule and have 3 employees. Maybe, I've got clients that have franchises with over 100 locations. Maybe it's building up this scalable business and selling it. But we got to get clear about where we're trying to go. I mean, it's very cliche, but it's kind of like a GPS, right? I mean, you got to plug in a destination before you can start moving.
Yeah, I love that. One of my mentors along the way is Chris Cooper. He's in the CrossFit world and owns the Two Brain Business Group. And he had to start with, what's your ideal day? What does that look like? And literally paint a very detailed picture. Like, what time do you wake up? What's the first thing you do in the morning? Who do you talk to? What does everything do? And then that is essentially what you're right. That's your GPS. And I think it's, all great coaches can identify that's the real deal. That's what you want, right? We talked a little bit before this recording, Pat, about things that don't change, the standards that don't change throughout time, even though technology is advancing and marketing has different options. Give us some insight into that. What's your thoughts behind the things that don't change? And
Yeah, I mean, philosophically, I've always believed that you build a business around the things that are going to be there 10 years from now, 15 years from now. And then we use innovation and technology to better kind of put those things into action. So what do we know isn't going to change? Well, people want personal attention. People want to feel special. They want to feel appreciated. That's not going to, that's been the case for 100 years, and it's going to be the case for 100 more, right? People enjoy being part of something bigger than them. So being able to provide a community, that's not going away either. People are always going to want to improve their health, improve their fitness, their vitality, their quality of life. I mean, you can look at advertisements from the turn of the 20th century and see people wanted those things. So that's not going away either, right? I think that people wanting to feel connected, so any sort of connection-based marketing, relationship-based marketing, be it before somebody's your client or continuing on after they are, we may use different technology to engage somebody, but they're always going to want to feel connected and feel like they're important to you and they're being heard and what you're saying is specifically applicable to them. I don't think anybody ever wakes up and says, man, I just want to be a number. I want to be kind of anonymous in the crowd.
Yeah.
But I think that whenever we get kind of technology in our hands, we try to find ways to almost make people feel that way. Everything becomes a volume thing or an automated thing. And trust me, I've been the beneficiary of most everybody that has become my client has originated through some sort of online communication. So I'm not denouncing that at all. It's just, I think that there actually has to be communication, not just broadcasts. I think that being like the need for specialists or the desire for people to have a specialist for them is not going to change, right? In fact, I think that as we move forward, people will want more specialized solutions, not less, because they're not so bound by geography to get their solution. I think that the need to differentiate matters more than ever, and it's only going to continue to grow because there's more noise and there's more information available to people than ever before. So that's not going away. And then ultimately, I think the common sense stuff, like people want value and convenience, that's not going away either, right? I mean, everybody wants things more conveniently. Everybody wants fair value for the investment of their time and money. So we have to consider those things. It's not necessarily, hey, how much money can we extract from somebody? Is how much value can we exchange in a relationship where everybody feels like they're coming out ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting is when you mentioned that specialization, especially in the online world. I have this conversation daily, like with somebody every day. When I get the opportunity to talk to somebody who's a leader in the industry, and I talk to people in coaching, I'm like, you got to narrow your niche, narrow. And it just seems becoming, it's no longer a secret or it's if this may happen. It's like, okay, no, this is happening, and it's only going to get even more and more specialized. And it's just.
I think a lot of people in our industry assume that they can get away without being narrow because they mistakenly think that they're not narrow locally. They think, well, okay, I have a lot of different type of clientele in my gym. What they're forgetting is they're narrowed locally by geography.
Mm-hmm.
So they are already niched down locally by, hey, can I get to you within 10 minutes?
Yeah.
So we're just trading that one way of narrowing our audience for another way of narrowing our audience. And maybe that's, I work with a specific demographic, or I work with a type of person that a specific type of message resonates with. But I mean, we're already doing it. It's just a lot of people ignore it because they're kind of oblivious to the fact that, yeah, man, I mean, I'm not, no matter how good you are at what you do, you're in California, I'm in Kentucky, I'm not coming 3 days a week, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, it already happens. It's just when we go online, we have to find a different way to make it happen.
Yeah. That's a really interesting point. And people are probably oblivious because they had no conscious choice. Like, okay, no, you're a local market. Yeah. That's it. The conversation's over. That's, God, that just rang true with me. And you just hit a chord. I never thought about it that way. So you have a large online presence, obviously, because that's where your business is focused. What are some of the things that maybe habits or intentional rituals, things like that you do with your business on a day-to-day basis that if you do these things, that success has a good chance of following?
So the first one is I've written a daily email, newsletter, essay, whatever you'd like to call it, for 12 consecutive years without missing a day.
Holy cow.
7
days a week.
Yeah. Yeah. And do I need to send daily? Probably not for the audience, but for me, I do, because that's just kind of hey, this is how I'm moving my relationships forward with the people that I serve and potentially serve. So that's number one. Number two is, man, I want to coach people pretty much every working day. I'm coaching. Every working day I'm creating, be it that email or something else. And every working day I'm trying to ascend somebody in the relationship. So I'm trying to sell something.
Yeah.
And those things take on different kind of shapes, obviously, but I mean, that's kind of my checklist every day. And if I didn't do one of those things, I'm like, I didn't move the business forward the way I needed to. I didn't serve the people who have trusted me to help them get where they're trying to go well enough. So I think those are like when we think about, okay, what are my intentional behaviors or what are my areas of focus? There's not a day that goes by. I mean, I use a paper planner and write it out because I write it out and I've got my top 3 every day. And those 3 are always related to the things that I just mentioned.
Right. So to do these things, these core pillars, how do you get rid of everything else?
I don't know that I do get rid of everything else. It's just, I accept that some things are just happening sequentially, right? And so I try to do the other stuff first. Like I do this first. I write a newsletter first. I make my schedule for coaching available early on. So a lot of that's already taken care of, right? I mean, my schedule's available. I'm reminding people my schedule every week. I'm making sure that people know when they can connect with me. I've scheduled coaching days for my coaching groups well in advance. So I block time off for everything. In fact, my day pretty much is, okay, I'm writing in the morning. I'm working out, getting, the physical component of my day to make sure I got something in the morning. I'm doing more kind of big picture or strategic work for my business probably before 11. And then typically from lunchtime on until 3:30, 4 o'clock when it's picking kids up from school and stuff is I'm connecting with people in a coaching setting or in a sales setting or occasionally, recording something like we're doing now. So my day structure for the days that I'm not in a meeting with a mastermind group or going and speaking or something, I mean, that's pretty much what they look like.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think, there's a lot I've asked that question to a lot of people who are successful and, it's always a couple things, one of two things. Either they hire virtual assistants to do everything else that they don't want to do, or they get everything done first thing in the morning. That's a priority. And
well, I definitely lean on other people too. I mean, I don't want to, I'm very comfortable saying that there are far more things I'm not good at doing than the select few that I am good at doing.
Yeah.
Like I have never edited a podcast. I have never uploaded a video to YouTube. I don't currently. I have previously put together sales pages or even upload my email into Infusionsoft. Like I'd rather write 2 emails than write one, upload it, test it, format it, everything else.
Yeah. So I have one more question for you because this is called the future of fitness, right? Okay. What do you see, whether it be coming from technology or trends and specialization or, I don't want to, load this question too much, but what do you see for the next 5 to 10 years for the future of the fitness industry?
I think that specialization and personalization are going to matter more and more over time. I think that accountability is probably going to be a bigger piece of the puzzle because if we look at things in kind of an abstract sense, overall the fitness industry probably hasn't had as much impact as we would like it to. I mean, there are plenty of people who join gyms and don't get the outcomes we'd like. And then plenty of other people who never join a gym or never engage with a coach. I think that now that we've got so many customized solutions at our fingertips online, people won't default to just choosing things because they're local. They're going to be looking for the best option for them. And then I also think that in an era where there is so much information and so much access, you can go on YouTube and learn all sorts of things. You can see articles and work out. Like, you're never more than a couple clicks away from information.
Yeah.
But getting you to actually apply the information is a little more challenging. So I think that there's going to be more of a push towards things that provide more engagement and accountability. And if I look, I was part of kind of that first wave of fitness information marketing. I mean, at one point, my wife had the top selling Fitness for Moms product on the internet.
Nice.
We were kind of immersed in that, and just the dissemination of information is not nearly as appealing to the customer as it was before. Now they want it to be a two-way conversation. At minimum, they're looking to be part of a Facebook group to feel connected to other people, right? So it's only going to heighten. I mean, I could easily see people being incentivized through some sort of accountability, people being incentivized based on behavior change. Like, hey, if you come work out this many times, we will give you X amount of your feedback. Or, people demanding that, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable to following your nutrition plan, or I'm going to hold you accountable to showing up at the gym, maybe a little bit better than we do currently. So between the specialization and personalization and accountability, I think that most of the evolution will employ one or the other. Now, it may be like there may be all sorts of technology that ties to that. And I tried not to predict the future of technology because, the iPhone was invented in 2007, right? Think about how much the landscape's changed then. But I think those are going to be the things that are really, we can use technology to really take advantage of.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all those things. And the accountability seems to be something that people are craving more and more. I think you're absolutely right. It's just, just for example, if you go online and you type fat loss tips, holy cow, you're inundated with so much information. You just need someone to specifically tell you what to do and then hold you accountable to doing it. And it may just be that simple, right? This is great. Well, this is a lot of great insight, Pat. Where do people find you? If they're, fitness professional that you resonate with, or anybody who wants to go to your blog or your podcast, where do they find you?
The hub for most everything is really simple. It's at patrigsby.com.
Cool.
And that's going to link out whether you want to connect via social media, you get the daily newsletter, you connect with my podcast, any of that stuff. That's probably the easiest place to find all of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I love talking to people who are, taking leadership role within the community, and I appreciate that you step up and you do it.
Man, I appreciate being here and connecting with you, and hopefully sharing a few things that might be valuable to the people paying attention here.
Yeah, absolutely. There was definitely a lot of value here. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Pat Rigsby, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Hey, fitness fans. Don't leave yet. This is your host, Eric Malzone, and I want to personally thank you for your support and listening to the Future of Fitness podcast and interview series. If you have a few minutes, I would greatly appreciate if you went to iTunes and gave us a favorable rating, as well as go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there. That'd be fantastic. If you know of anybody who'd be a great fit for this show as a guest, please hit me up at eric@fitnessmarketingalliance.com. That's Eric with a C. Also, I have 3 questions for you. Number 1, are you a fitness professional who's been in the industry for over 7 years? Question number 2, do you have an online revenue stream or multiple online revenue streams? Question number 3, are you ready to break loose from your local market and take advantage of all of the opportunity out there in the online world? If you are, I want you to go to fitnessmarketingalliance.com/mastermind. This will lead you to our Level Up Mastermind group and all the information that you need to know. This is a group for high-level thinkers within the industry who are ready to break free. So go check it out. It's fitnessmarketingalliance.com/mastermind. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you again for listening. I greatly appreciate your support. We'll keep it up from our end as well.